In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to get more residential solar appointments, either as a solar consultant, like a sales guy, or as a actual solar company. Now, most people think that if the lead is coming from anywhere but referrals, it's a complete waste of time. And the reality is that not a lot of people are really willing to admit is that if you don't put in the work to qualify each lead and then nurture them through the process, then it's kind of on you. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the more connection and the more time you spend with your prospect before you actually get to the sales appointment, the higher chance and the better result that you're going to see when you actually go and sit down with them, because they know you more, they like you more, and they trust you more. Okay? So here's how we make sure every single appointment is primed and ready to buy before we even hop on the sales call. This process turns cold, uninterested leads into hot, ready to buy prospects. And it's a 4-step framework that we use that generates leads, qualifies them, schedules them, and then nurture them. So let's get into it. First of all, we need to actually generate the leads that we can actually go and nurture and then close. There's a lot of different methods to do this. You've probably done some of them before. Door to door, it's a grind. People don't like you for doing it, and it's getting harder and harder. Also, most places where solar is actually popular, it's very hot, very humid, very dry, miserable place to be knocking doors every single day. Second, if you've ever bought leads before, you know that it's inconsistent. They're typically lower quality, and it's really a very transactional service. It isn't really a partnership. Google Ads can be great, but the way that Google is changing their algorithm and leaning towards AI, the cost per lead just keeps going up, and you start to get into just kind of landing those price shoppers who aren't really looking for like an actual consultant. They're really just there to get a quote from you and then go find the cheapest person, which a lot of times is not what we want. SEO really isn't that popular in the solar industry. It takes forever. It's very location limited, and overall, it's just not an ideal strategy for the way that solar is sold. And then the other two options would be social media marketing, so like Facebook ads, which are a great platform, but just starting out, it's pretty hard to learn how to run them by yourself. And then on top of that, you need to make sure you have your nurture process dialed in. Now, organic content can also be great. It's free. Well, not everything is free. Nothing is really free, but it is a huge time investment, and you have to know how to create content that people actually want to watch, which is another complete different skill. So let's talk about Facebook ads, because that's what we typically use for our clients and what we use personally. Number one for that process is going to be creating personable, organic content. That's what people are used to seeing on the platform. That's what works best. And there's a lot more that goes into it, but I can talk about that later. What that's going to do is build trust, it's going to build your brand, and it's going to build consumer confidence in you and your product, which is overall going to make it easier, going to get you some more referrals, even if you don't directly see the attributed revenue there. So that's just another added bonus. Once they see your Facebook ad, they have to fill out a custom form, and what that does is qualify and remove any of those leads that maybe can't afford it, they aren't homeowners, things like that. Once they fill out the form, they then have an opportunity to immediately book on your calendar. The nice thing about this is that it makes the process very streamlined for the customer. Now, regardless of whether or not they immediately book onto the calendar, you reach out to them, you further qualify them, and then you make sure that that appointment is confirmed and scheduled. If they don't immediately book, then you schedule that appointment. Now, the key with this is the faster you do it, the better. If you can do this in under 5 minutes, you're going to see 120% increase in conversions. So that is a huge part of it. Now, once the qualified appointment is scheduled, it's confirmed, they've been on the phone with somebody, then they're placed on the closer's calendar, and the proposal is made so that the closer can go in, show them the proposal, handle any objections, and then close the deal. Now, what happens next? Because I know, like I said beforehand, if you don't actually nurture the client between the appointment being scheduled and the actual proposal, then it's going to be a lot harder to sell them. So this is our process. There's kind of two main scenarios that you can look at this as. Scenario one, they don't get any communication until the meeting. They kind of lose interest, and they really just need to think about it. I'm sure you guys have all heard that before. And what this does is it makes it feel like the lead was never good in the first place, that the problem was the place you got it, the agency didn't give you a quality lead. But in reality, the problem was you just didn't take care of that lead. You didn't nurture them. You didn't help them get to the point where they were ready to buy. You just bought them, sent them a proposal, scheduled an appointment, showed up, and then they aren't ready to buy. Now, scenario two, you're in touch with them leading up to the meeting. They're on the phone with somebody as soon as they reach out. It's great customer service. They get sent educational content, videos. They learn about solar. They realize how much solar could actually save them in the long run. And then you sit down with them. They know you, they trust you, they're confident in your product, in solar, they're educated about it. And that just takes your close rate from maybe like 5 to 10% up to like 30 or 40. I mean, it's sitting down with a qualified prospect who's been nurtured like this is a night and day difference from sitting down with someone who doesn't even own a home. Like, that's how much of a difference that this makes. So if you're a solar provider, you're a solar consultant, and you're maybe struggling with inconsistent appointments, you're struggling with a bad show up rate, you've been door to door and it's miserable and you're over it, then this appointment generating engine is the perfect way to actually have a consistent flow of appointments that are actually qualified and ready to buy, and not just tire kickers, I need to think about it people, or anything like that. Now, everything I've gone over here is more than enough for you to start implementing these systems yourself. All the information is out there. It's just up for you to take action on it. If you don't want to have to deal with all of that and you want us to handle it, that is absolutely something we can do. Just go ahead and fill out the form below and we will reach out to you. We'll go over our process, see where you guys are at, and then if everything looks good, then we can get this built out for you and we can get you some more qualified appointments.